If you were born in the 1940s, the 1950s, or the 1960s, I need you to watch this complete video before the end of this month, because the Social Security Administration has rolled out updated regulations taking effect in July 2026 that are directly reshaping how benefits are calculated, distributed, and adjusted for people in precisely these three birth generations, and the changes are not the same across all three groups. What applies to someone born in the 1940s is different from what applies to someone born in the 1950s, and different again from what applies to someone born in the 1960s. That is exactly why most general Social Security videos out there are failing you. They treat everyone born before 1970 as one group. They are not one group. And the difference between knowing what applies to your birth decade and not knowing could be the difference between collecting every dollar you are owed and walking away from money that was rightfully yours. This video is going to walk you through what July's new regulations mean specifically for your birth generation. What action each group must take before the relevant deadlines pass. And what happens to your monthly payment if you simply do nothing. Please share this video right now with every person in your household or your extended family who was born in the 1940s, the 1950s, or the 1960s. Before they miss something, they will not be able to recover. I want to be completely honest with you about what is genuinely at stake here. I have seen a retiree born in the 1950s sitting on a retroactive payment from the Social Security Fairness Act recalculation (ISRA), money that had already been calculated and was legally hers, held in a suspended processing status for months, not because of a system error, not because she did anything wrong, but because a new July 2026 verification step required her to personally confirm her direct deposit details before the funds could be released, and nobody called her to tell her that step existed. The money was just sitting there, waiting, while she assumed everything was fine. I have seen a man born in the 1960s unknowingly walk past a 30-day reconsideration window that would have allowed him to withdraw an early filing decision he already regretted, at absolutely no cost, and lock in a permanently higher benefit for the rest of his life. He missed that window not because he chose to ignore it, but because he had no idea a new July regulation had created it. By the time anyone explained it to him, the 30 days were gone. That decision is now permanent and irreversible. And I have seen a woman born in the 1940s, someone who has been in retirement for more than a decade, miss a benefit correction under the new July Earnings Record Review Protocol that would have added over $300 per month to her payment for the remainder of her life. A correction notice had already been generated and mailed to an address she had not lived at for 7 years. A 90-day response window opened and closed while she was still waiting for someone to sit down and explain to her what it meant. Every single one of these outcomes is entirely preventable. This video exists so that none of them happen to you. By the time this video ends, you are going to have a clear and complete understanding of what the new July Social Security regulations mean for each of the three birth generations, the 1940s, the 1950s, and the 1960s, along with the specific action each group needs to take without delay. I am going to walk through all three groups in order. But I want to ask you right now to stay through the section on people born in the 1960s in particular, because that group is facing the most time-sensitive deadline of all three, and the one where failing to act produces the most permanent and irreversible financial consequences of anything covered in this video. If you were born in the 1960s, or you have a family member who was, that section alone is worth staying until the very end. Before we go through each group, take a moment right now to subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell notification. Social Security regulations are being revised more frequently throughout 2026 than at any point in recent decades. And when the rules change, the SSA does not call you. They do not send a text. They mail a standardized form letter to whatever address they have on file, and they consider their obligation fulfilled. Nobody follows up to clarify what those changes mean for your specific birth year, your benefit type, or your individual financial situation. What I do on this channel is monitor every SSA rule modification, break it down according to exactly who it affects and in what way, and deliver that information to you while there is still time to act on it. If you have not subscribed yet, then you are already behind, because those who have subscribed are already ahead of you, making their life more comfortable. So let us get into it. If you were born in the 1940s, you are currently somewhere between 77 and 85 years old, and you have been receiving Social Security benefits for anywhere from 7 to more than 20 years, depending on when you originally filed your claim. The July 2026 regulatory change that most directly affects your group involves a new Internal Earnings Record Review protocol the SSA has put into place for long-term recipients in your birth generation. Here is the background. When many seniors in this age group originally applied for Social Security, the majority of them doing so in the late 1990s and early 2000s, the calculation systems the SSA relied on had documented data entry and earnings record limitations. In certain cases, those limitations caused benefits to be calculated using incomplete or marginally inaccurate earnings histories. The SSA has been aware of specific categories of these discrepancies for years. What changed in July 2026 is that the agency activated a formal correction protocol that automatically flags accounts in your birth generation for a records review (C), and when a discrepancy is found, a written correction notice is generated and mailed to the recipient on file. Here is where the danger lies. A significant number of retirees born in the 1940s have relocated since they originally filed their claim. They have not updated their mailing address with the SSA, or they have family members managing their affairs who do not recognize a correction notice when it arrives. The new July protocol generates a 90-day response window beginning from the date the notice is formally issued. If no response is received within that window, the correction process is closed. The account is marked as reviewed with no change recorded. The error remains in place permanently, and the benefit continues at the lower, incorrect amount indefinitely. A correction notice may have already been generated for your account and sent to an address you have not lived at in years. Your 90-day window may already be running, and you would have no way of knowing because nobody called to tell you. If that window closes before you respond, the opportunity to correct your benefit is gone for good. If you were born in the 1940s, here is what you need to do immediately. 2 steps. First, log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov or call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213 and verify that your current mailing address and all contact details on file are accurate and completely up to date. Second, ask the representative explicitly whether your account has been flagged under the July 2026 Earnings Record Review Protocol and whether any correction notice has already been generated and sent. If a notice was mailed to an old address, request that it be reissued to your current address and confirm the new start date of your 90-day response window from that reissued date. Do not assume your information on file is current. Do not interpret silence from the SSA as meaning nothing is pending. A single phone call today could uncover a benefit increase that has been sitting inside their system, waiting on a response that never arrived. If you were born in the 1950s, you are currently somewhere between 66 and 75 years old, which means you are either freshly retired, actively navigating Social Security decisions in real time right now, or moving toward the critical window where the choices made over the next 12 to 24 months will permanently define your monthly benefit for the rest of your life. The July 2026 regulatory change that most directly affects people born in the 1950s is the revised implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act, specifically the acceleration of retroactive payment processing and benefit recalculations for recipients in this birth generation who were affected by the Windfall Elimination Provision, or the WEP, or the Government Pension Offset, known as the GPO. If at any point in your working career you were employed by a state or local government, a public school system, a federal agency prior to 1984, or any employer that did not withhold Social Security taxes from your paycheck, and you are currently collecting Social Security Z, your benefit may have been reduced by the WEP or the GPO for an extended period of time. the Social Security Fairness Act permanently eliminated both of these provisions. The SSA has been working through recalculations and distributing retroactive payments to those affected. But the July 2026 update introduced a new verification step specifically for recipients in this birth generation. Before the SSA will release a recalculated benefit amount or a retroactive payment to someone born in the 1950s, they are now required to confirm current direct deposit details directly with the recipient. This means that if your direct deposit information has been updated at any point in the past 3 years, or if you are simply not certain that what the SSA has on file is still accurate, your recalculated benefit and any retroactive funds you are owed may be sitting in a suspended status right now. Calculated. Ready. Waiting on a verification step that nobody has reached out to tell you needs to be completed. Retroactive payments for individuals in this birth generation who were subject to both the WEP and the GPO are averaging between $2,400 and $8,500, depending on how long the reduction was applied and the size of the original benefit. That money belongs to you. It has been calculated. It is not lost, but it will not move forward until you make the call. Every month you wait is another month that money sits idle in a processing queue. Call the SSA at 1-800-772-1213 today and ask 3 direct questions. 1. Does my account have a pending WEP or GPO recalculation? 2. Has a retroactive payment been calculated on my behalf? 3. Is the direct deposit information currently on file confirmed and up to date? That single call could release a payment that has been waiting in a queue for months. The SSA is not going to reach out to you first. They are waiting on you. Make the call today. If you were born in the 1960s, you are currently somewhere between 60 and 65 years old. This is the section I told you at the beginning to stay for. And I meant it. The July 2026 regulatory change affecting your group carries the most time-sensitive and permanently consequential implications of all 3 birth generations covered in this video. People born in the 1960s are either approaching Social Security eligibility for the first time or have only very recently become eligible. The July 2026 rule introduces 2 significant changes specifically for your group. The first is a new pre-filing notification requirement. The second is a 30-day reconsideration window for new applicants. I am going to cover both, and I need you to hear both. Under the previous process, a substantial number of seniors in this age group filed for Social Security without ever being shown a clear, side-by-side breakdown of what their benefit would look like at age 62 versus full retirement age versus age 70 dice, and without receiving a transparent explanation of the permanent reduction that locking in an early claim produces. The new July regulation now requires SSA representatives to deliver that comparison in written form before processing any new claim submitted by someone born in the 1960s. Here is why this matters so much, and why the numbers need to be in front of you right now, before you sign anything. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. Filing at 62 permanently cuts your monthly benefit by 30%, not temporarily. Not for a few years, permanently. Every single month. For the rest of your life. Waiting until 70 permanently increases your benefit by 24% above your full retirement age amount. For someone whose full retirement age benefit is $2,000 per month, the difference between filing at 62 versus waiting until 70 is $1,080 every single month, permanently, for the remainder of their life. Stretched across 20 years, that gap accumulates to $259,200 in total lifetime income. And yet more than half of Americans in this age group file before reaching full retirement age, not because filing early is the wrong decision for everyone, but because the overwhelming majority of them never had those numbers laid out clearly in front of them before they signed their paperwork. The second change the July 2026 rule introduced is a 30-day reconsideration period for new claims submitted by people born in the 1960s. If you submitted a Social Security application within the past 30 days and you belong to this birth generation, you currently have a window running from your original application date to withdraw that application at absolutely no cost, reconsider the age at which you are claiming, and resubmit at a later date to lock in a permanently higher monthly benefit for the rest of your life. This is separate and distinct from the standard 12-month ssa.gov withdrawal process. It applies specifically to new applicants in this birth generation under the July 2026 rule DARS, and it expires precisely 30 days from your original application date. Once that window closes, the decision is final. Permanent. Irreversible. If you filed recently and you have any doubt at all, about the claiming age you selected, call 1-800-7721-213 today and ask specifically about the July 2026 new filer reconsideration window. Ask before your 30-day period runs out. And if you have not yet filed, do not sign anything until you have seen that written comparison showing your benefit at 62, at 67, and at 70 laid out clearly, side by side. You are entitled to that information under the new July regulation. Ask for it. Demand it if necessary, because once you file, the number you lock in is the number you live with. Here is the consolidated picture for all three groups. If you were born in the 1940s, call 1-800-7721-213 today. Verify that your mailing address on file with the SSA is completely current. Then ask whether your account has been flagged under the July 2026 Earnings Record Review Protocol and whether any correction notice has already been issued. A 90-day response window may already be actively counting down on a correction notice you never received. One call today could permanently increase the monthly benefit you receive for the rest of your life. If you were born in the 1950s, call 1-800-7721-213 today. Ask specifically about any pending WEP or GPO recalculation tied to your account. Ask whether a retroactive payment has been calculated on your behalf. And confirm that your direct deposit details are current and have been verified. Between $2,400 and $8,500 in retroactive funds may be sitting in a processing queue waiting solely on your confirmation call to move forward. The money is there. It is yours. It will not move until you call. If you were born in the 1960s, internalize this clearly. Your full retirement age is 67. Filing at 62 permanently reduces your monthly benefit by 30%. Waiting until 70 permanently increases it by 24%. The lifetime difference between those two decisions can exceed $259,200. Make that decision with those numbers in front of you, not after the paperwork is already signed. And if you submitted a new application within the past 30 days, call 1-800-772-1213 today and ask about the July 2026 new filer reconsideration window before it closes permanently and that decision becomes irreversible. The number for all three groups is 1-800-772-1213. You can also log into your account directly at ssa.gov to review your benefit details, verify your contact information, and check for any pending notices or correction flags on your account. Please share this video right now with every member of your family born in the 1940s, the 1950s, or the 1960s, because each of these three groups has something specific and genuinely urgent to act on before this month ends. Do not let someone you love miss a deadline they did not even know was running. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so that the next time Social Security regulations change, and they will change again, you are the first to know, not the last. The rules changed in July. Now you know exactly what you need to do about it. Make that call today.